Hey everybody, Old Alan's 22, testing turbines. Testing not in terms of turbines that are up, wind turbines that is, but testing in terms of where to put one. As you can see, this is the area I spend most of my time. Campfires over there, the hut is just behind us, the log store is here. Little camping area for friends is there. There's more camping areas just in the woods here. Now we're quite a breezy day today. You can see from this shiver tree, otherwise known as a poplar. It's pretty windy out there. Quite a good breeze. If I put it in here, you'd have a guy line running across where the van is. Basically, because there's four 90-degree guy lines. You have one coming across the front of the van, which is obviously far from ideal, because you'd then not be able to get. I don't tend to drive up here very often, but hut is a trailer. It's on a chassis, and to move that, you occasionally need to get vehicles in here, as you will see from previous videos. So, well, I can't have it out there because of that. And the other problem with it being out there, although it is in slightly cleaner air, it's much more visible. Oh, sorry, you're really close, sorry. It's much more visible to outside people. You stick a turbine on a 6-metre pole, everyone is going to know about it if it's out there. Not so much this time of year, but in winter, the view through that section of woodland there is very, very thin, and it'd be, people would see it from the road possibly even. So that then brings me back down into this sort of area, and although I'm in sort of like still air here, if I look up, I've got reasonable airflow around this and this up here. The two ash trees there. There is a gap between them above this lower layer, and my pole will put us above this lower layer. So there is a clear gap there that air can travel through. Also, above the back of this log store here, this is all shrub layer, all of this. So that's never going to get massive, and can be controlled anyway because a lot of it is hedging material. Okay, back to the turbine. I've dug a hole here, and into that hole is going to go that. And that's the base plate for the turbine. Now, as you'll see, this bolts down, and as you will probably remember if you've been following this series, I don't like using concrete. I was adamant I wasn't going to use any down here, but for this application I think really sensibly it's my only option. I feel like a sellout right now, and by the magic of video, first one concreted. So now what I need to do is work out my distances for the other holes and get those dug and concreted. Okay, so next hole is dug. This is the first of the anchor holes, and what I've done, the main base hole is just down there. You can just see the pole sticking out, and I've attached Wilma's old lead, a long puppy training lead, to that, and the knot tied in there is sort of a suitable distance for the anchor to be pinned into the concrete. So what I've done, obviously the pull line will be along in that direction, and what I've done, I've made a longer, narrower trench, quite deep, about 11 inches deep, and on the far side of it, which you probably can't see, I've angled that so it's further, there's a longer bit at the bottom than the top, and effectively that will act as a counter block, because in the high wind this is going to be pulled that way and want it to be pulled up as well. So just just angling that will hopefully help. So if I do that on each of them, that would be good. I think, thinking about it now, what I'm also going to do, I'm going to angle this side in the same direction, so it's I don't know what this, I can't remember my school maths, I can't remember what shape that would be, but wider at the bottom than it is at the top anyway. So it'll make a nice key effect, and it'll make it harder to lift that out of the ground. So yeah, I'm just going to reshape that, and then on with some concrete in. Okay, so concrete in. There's my bolt, my eyelet that I'm going to put in. So I'm just literally going to push that in, wiggle it down, same sort of angle I'd do for a tent peg. Get that as close to the surface as I can, and then I'll just tamp around it just to get it all nice and packed tight, and then I'll just leave that. What's the rope for, Sam? That eyelet there needs to be in direct line with the eyelet directly opposite. So imagine post, the pole is running up there, and this straight line represents the rope represents the straight line between the two cables. So each cable on either side needs to be exactly opposite the other one, otherwise you get unequal pull on it in a heavy wind. So that's what that rope is doing, it's telling me exactly where the centre line is. So now I've still got the dog lead down the other side, that's giving me my distance so I can go and dig the next hole. Right then, that's the end of another day down here, or half a day. I was working elsewhere this morning. So we've now got in the centrepiece, and as you can see, I marked the centre, and I also marked around the edge of the plate. It's going to be bolted onto that. So that'll be the base of the tower. We've got one down there, one fixing down there, one fixing over there, another one there by the front of the toilet, and the last one is tucked up in there. So they're all in a line with one another. So that's great. I can wait a few days, get that bolted down when that's nice and hard, so I'll give that till later in the week. And then I'll be in a position when my brother's around, which I think hopefully is next weekend, to get the top bolted on, get the cables run through, and get the mast up. Now you will probably be able to see, and this is the manufacturer's, not me, there's an angle on that post. That bit up there doesn't bolt up square, that's bolted up good and tight, and as good as I can get it, but the plates are obviously slightly offset on the ends of the thing, so there's quite a bend on that, and it goes on about making sure the thing is upright. Well, I've got to make sure when I put it up that the top section is upright. The bottom section is going to look off. Whatever I do, it's going to look off, so there's nothing I can do about that. But as long as the top bit is upright, then the actual turbine on top will be upright, so hopefully that will negate any problems. But it's just one of them things. It's just about poor workmanship really, from the manufacturers, but there's not much I can do about that, so I'll just have to work with it.